When I was a kid, I used to chew on the little silica gel packets that come in shoeboxes, the ones stamped "Do Not Eat" in big red letters. I liked the way the beads crunched like sand candy. That habit is the reason a pharmacist once called poison control on my entire family, and the reason my mother didn't speak to me for a full day. It started when I was about 6. I'd find the packets in new sneakers, in my dad's vitamin bottles, tucked into the pockets of winter coats, and I'd sneak them like contraband. My grandmother caught me once, mid-crunch, and nearly fainted. That is poison. It says it right on the package. Do not eat. She made me spit it into her hand and rinse my mouth 3 times. I was so scared I stopped. Well, I stopped doing it where anyone could see. I've always been good at hiding things, like the time I lost my retainer and let my parents believe it fell out at a restaurant, when really I'd flushed it because I hated wearing it. Or the time I told my mom I'd practiced piano for an hour when I'd actually watched cartoons with the sound off so I could hear her car in the driveway. I just never thought about rules the way grown-ups did. Same with the packets. I'd palm them and crunch them later under my blanket, certain I was getting away with something. I kept it up for the better part of a year, until my little cousin's birthday party at a paint-your-own pottery place. There was a craft station with a bin of supplies, and tucked among them were a handful of those packets. I pocketed 2. Later, when the cake came out, I slipped one into my mouth out of pure habit, and an aunt saw me. "Spit that out right now!" she shrieked, loud enough that the whole party turned. She fished the half-chewed packet out of my mouth and read the label, and her face went white. "It says do not eat. He's been eating these. Call somebody." Within minutes, my mom was on the phone with poison control, pacing the parking lot, while I sat at the craft table mortified, the other kids whispering. The woman on the line asked questions. How many? How long? My mom kept glancing back at me through the window, her hand over her mouth. "He says months," I heard her say. Months. We had no idea. I felt sick. Not from the packet, from the shame. Everyone knew now. The sneaky thing I'd been so proud of getting away with had blown up in the middle of a birthday party, and my mom looked at me like she didn't recognize me. The party wound down in an awkward hush. We drove home in total silence. She didn't say a word to me that night, or the next morning, and a 12-hour silence from my mother felt like the end of the world. I was convinced I'd poisoned myself, that something inside me was permanently ruined, that I'd be the kid who ate poison forever. I never touched another packet after that. The fear stuck for years. Every time I saw one in a shoebox, I felt a cold drop in my stomach and threw it away like it might bite me. Then, a long time later, I was maybe 16, my mom and I were unpacking groceries and she pulled a silica packet out of a bag of dried seaweed and handed it to me to toss. I flinched. "Mom, that stuff is poison," I said. "Remember? You had to call poison control on me when I was little." She stopped and looked at me, genuinely confused. "Poison? Honey, that's just silica gel. It's not poison. It keeps things from getting damp. The label says don't eat it because it's a choking hazard for little kids, and it'll make your stomach upset, not because it'll kill you." She laughed soft. I called poison control that day because I panicked and didn't actually know what it was. They told me you'd be totally fine. You'd basically eaten flavorless sand. I stood there in the kitchen with the packet in my hand. "But you didn't talk to me for a whole day," I said. "I thought I'd poisoned myself." Her face fell. "Oh, sweetheart. I wasn't angry. I was embarrassed that I'd made a scene at the party over nothing, and I felt awful that I'd scared you. I went quiet because I didn't know how to admit I'd overreacted in front of everyone." I sat down at the kitchen table while a full decade of low-grade dread just quietly dissolved. She'd been ashamed of herself the whole time, and I'd spent 10 years thinking I was the one with poison in me.